Hello, I'm Richard Van Wyhe, founder of Van Wyhe's Custom Engraving, manufacturers of quality products since 1987, and on the web at engravingdragon.com. In this video, we're going to discuss the heater system for the Yamaha Rhino. We also manufacture one for, it's a universal unit made for other ATVs or UTVs, side-by-sides, and is available at engravingdragon.com. In today's video, we're going to be installing the heater in a 2009 700. And there have been a lot of questions about the heat system, and so in addition to the installation, I'll go through a little bit about how it works. Holding it in my hand, it's not very big. Basically what it does is it takes the heat that flows through the radiator and diverts it into the passenger area through a vent system. When the unit is on, flaps open up which catch some of the air passing through the radiator and divert it through the vent tube. When it's off, the air simply passes by without restriction, allows the Rhino to have the same cooling capability as if you had no heater at all. This mounts directly behind the fan, and in a moment you'll see exactly how it fits in there. But anyway, very simple. It's not a new idea. The same type of heat system has been used in aircraft and other types of vehicles for a very long time. But nice thing about this type of setup is that there's no electrical connections, no plumbing connections, nothing to add liability, no chance for failure on the trail. Operated by a control cable, and it can't get any simpler than that. So let's get started with the installation. Okay, for installing the heater, we need just a few tools. On the 700, you need to remove the air box. So you need a 10mm socket and wrench and an Allen head to remove the air box. Then we suggest you have an awl, a Phillips screwdriver, crescent wrench, nut driver, and a drill. You're going to need 7/16 for the control cable and 3 1/4 inch hole saw for the vent. Now you don't have to have the hole saw. The plastic is soft and you're able to cut it with a knife if you need be, and the vent has a flange around it, so if the cut's not absolutely perfect, the flange would cover that. I prefer a hole saw because it's faster and easier. Anyway, let's get started. On the 700 models, the first thing we have to do is remove the air box. On the 450s and 660s, the air box isn't located here, and the heat box, which is a different design than it is on the 700, but it will drop directly in, attaches to the top of the support right here. Very quick, simple, easy. On the 700, we need to remove the air box, which is not a problem. Remove the little cover here with those two little threaded button screws. 10mm wrench to remove the mounting screws. There's 4 mounting screws or bolts. There's 2 on top and 2 in front here. You have to remove that little cover to access these 2 up here. And then it takes an Allen head or Allen wrench to remove the hose fitting in the bottom here, where it leaves the air box and goes back to the engine. Okay. So once we remove this, we'll be able to insert the heat box into position, which is then attached with self-tapping screws. Okay, loosen up the Allen head on the hose here. Okay. Lift the air box out. That's all there is to it. Now we take the heat box, and you can detach. They actually come with the hose detached. I've already got it attached in this one. And we'll route that in a moment. But this simply drops down in behind the radiator fan. And got to watch out for all the wiring and stuff here. And there we go. It drops in and goes down to rest on the brake line divider. There's a piece that the brake lines to the front comes and splits. The bottom of the heat box will rest on that, and it will kind of self-center in position. Can't go down any further. Basically self-centers left to right, and then the mounting flange is against the core support here. Then using self-tapping screws, we will attach the air box to the frame of the Rhino. And like I said, we just simply attach it with the self-tapping screws. And there we have it. I covered the intake with a towel just to make sure we didn't get any little metal shavings into the intake. And so now the airbox portion is mounted and in place. So next we're going to drill the hole for the vent, and for that we want to center it in the dash, or under the dash, and make sure there's nothing in the way. Typically the wiring is all loomed up and out of the way. There isn't a problem. I usually drill from the inside of the passenger area out, and just a little more room, easier to do it that way. And so that's what we'll do next. Okay, I haven't done one of these in a long time myself, and went to drill from the other side, and on the 700 with the cup holders, this particular drill and the hole saw, I didn't have enough room, so I am going to go from this side. And easy going on these things, but we will get our hole in here in a second. There you have it. Now we take the vent, and you want the rubber gasket. There's a paper and rubber gasket on this. The rubber gasket will go on the passenger side. Get it to stay in place. Then we attach the nut. Paper gasket on this side, and tighten it down. Then you attach the hose and secure it with the hose clamp, and this portion is complete. Always check to make sure you have good movement, you have full operation, that you don't have any binding or anything, that you're not rubbing up against anything. And so once the vent is in place, then we're going to mount the control cable. and you need to decide where you want it. I'll show you where I prefer it, but you can put it almost anywhere you want as long as there's nothing else in the way. So let's move to the other side of the dash. Okay, we'll just give you a little better view of what things look like. Here is the cross member. Shocks mount to it, the radiator mounts to it, and the heater mounts to it. Here's your two self-tapping screws, top of your air box. This is your air intake. This is the hose going from the heat system to our vent back there in the dark. Kind of hard to film because of poor lighting, and we're not doing a professional video here where we have all the proper lighting, but you can see how this goes into place. Drop down here, get a side view. Here's your brake master cylinder, your steering. It fits on top of the rack for the steering. Steering shaft goes right past the back end of it, and it's a tight fit. On the other side you have the oil cooler lines, and of course your air intake. You want to be careful now when we route the control cable that we make sure that it's not rubbing up against any wiring, any cooler lines, or anything else that could be a wear point and cause a problem. And so it's just a matter of carefully picking your path for the control cable, and be sure to maintain gentle bends, no abrupt bends, and then using wire ties that come with it, you can attach it in place so it won't move. Alright, my favorite location is right here. Looks like Yamaha put a little relief area here that's perfect. It's nice and strong and rigid right there. Perfect spot for our control cable. We've put them up here. We've put them in this area. Behind the steering wheels is kind of a pain. Here's a nice spot. It's out of the way. Not going to ever get bumped. And like I said, you got good rigidity. Excellent spot. Using a 3/16 inch drill bit, I've already gone with a little pilot hole. We will drill a hole for the control cable. There you have it. Nice hole. So next we will pull the center cable out of the outer cable and route the outer cable through this hole. Okay, I've routed my cable on the other side of the dash to where it has gentle bends. It's not rubbing up against anything, and is now protruding through my hole. Remove the top cap, allows this to come through the hole. Again, we pulled out the inner cable, and now we will reattach this portion, and I'm going to have to hold it from both sides here. That's good. And then tighten it up nice and snug, and then reinsert the inner cable. And sometimes it goes in quick and easy, and other times you have to play with it. But once you get it in, you may need to move the outer cable a little bit, just a little bit, to help it work all the way through. But if you have gentle bends, it shouldn't be any problem. Okay. Continue fishing this in and through. And there you have it. It's a matter of, that's a lock position, about a quarter of a twist, and that would be pulling the heater on. We have to attach it to the other end still, and that would be turning it off. So it's very easy to operate, and works real slick. But let's attach it to the other end. That's the final piece of this. And but it's a critical piece in that when we attach the cable lock nut on there, you want to make sure that you use Loctite or a similar product, so that once that screw is snugged down, it doesn't loosen up, because that's what's going to keep this cable from coming all the way out. I mean, it will only come a particular throw based on the throw of the flaps on the heat box, and that's it. As you can see, without it, I can pull it all the way out. But anyway, we'll do that right now. Okay, here's where the cable comes in, and you got to thread the inner cable through the control arm here, and then we put our little cable lock down here, and you want to make sure it's snug up against it. Tighten it down, and I like to use a crescent wrench on one end to hold the body of it still, and then make sure that we get it nice and tight. Okay, and like I said, be sure to use Loctite on there, very important. And then once that's done, we can put the air box back into place, and it will fit right on top. There it is. Put your bolts back in, and be sure to use your Allen wrench to tighten up the hose, and that's it. That's the installation of a 700 Rhino heater. You can do it in 30 minutes or less, and